The brass hose stand at the Alder Room was already moving when Simone Carter opened the front door. A couple in their 70s stepped in first. The man gave only his last name. Paige Bennett checked the tablet, smiled, and reached for 2 leather menus. Nolan Greer came from the second podium, shook the man's hand, and walked them toward the window without asking for a confirmation. A business guest arrived early. No problem. Paige pointed him to the bar and marked his table with a blue dot. A florist came through the side door with a paper sleeve of white roses. A busser signed the delivery slip and took the flowers toward the private room. The system worked. Then Kira Carter stepped onto the black and white tile in a pink dress and a crooked paper crown. She held a birthday card against her chest with both hands. Green and gold crayon covered the front. Simone stood behind her in dark jeans, a cream sweater, and small gold studs. No logo on the bag. No driver outside. No assistant at her shoulder. Paige looked up. "Good afternoon. Do you have a reservation?" "Carter," Simone said. "Party of 2. Birthday lunch." Paige tapped the tablet. Her face opened into a real smile. "Found it. Window booth. Happy birthday." Kira looked up at Simone. The window. Simone said. Paige picked up 2 menus and a kid's menu with a sheet of paper crowns tucked inside. She had taken 1 step from the stand when Nolan's hand came down lightly on the tablet. "Not the window," he said. Paige stopped. "The reservation says window booth." Nolan did not look at Simone yet. He looked at Kira's crown, then at Simone's jeans, then at the empty booth by the glass. "Put them in the service alcove." Paige's fingers tightened around the menus. "Sir, it has a birthday tag." "I can see the tag." He tapped the screen twice. Simone watched the table map shift. The window booth changed from Carter to Hold. Another table lit up near the kitchen swing doors. Service alcove. Kira leaned close to her mother's leg. "Is that still special?" Simone placed one hand on her daughter's shoulder. "Any table with you at it is special." Paige led them through the dining room. They passed white linen, polished forks, and 2 open window booths. At the back, the air smelled faintly of bread and dish steam. The booth leather had a worn seam near the edge. Paige set the menus down. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "Please bring her sparkling water with lime," Simone said. "And an umbrella, if you have one." Paige nodded too quickly and left. For a few minutes, Kira smiled again. The umbrella came in a tall glass. Paige gave her a paper crown from the kids' menu box and placed another in front of Simone. "Birthday rule," Paige said. "1 for the guest of honor, 1 for Mom." Simone put hers on. Kira laughed and clinked her glass against Simone's water. Nolan arrived before the bread did. He stopped beside the booth, close enough that Kira lowered her cup. "Ma'am," he said, "you'll need to remove that." Simone touched the paper crown. We have a dress code. It came from your kids' menu. For children, she is a child, and you are not." Simone took the crown off and placed it flat beside Kira's birthday card. "We are here for lunch. I'll need to verify the reservation myself. Your hostess already did." "I said I'll need to verify it." Simone opened her phone and turned the screen toward him. "Carter, party of 2. Window booth. Confirmed 3 weeks ago. Sent from your restaurant." Nolan leaned over the phone. He read the email slowly. Too slowly. Then he straightened. "It is not showing on my end." Paige, standing near the host stand, looked down at the tablet. The birthday tag was still there. So was Nolan's override. Evan Price, 2 tables away, lifted his phone just enough to catch the booth and the host screen in the same frame. Simone folded her hands on the table. "Please bring us a server." Nolan tapped the tablet again. "Verification issue." If the reservation already had a birthday tag and a window booth, why did Nolan need to mark Simone as a problem? The breadbasket arrived, but no server came behind it. Paige set it on the booth with a small dish of butter and kept one hand on the edge of the table. She looked toward Nolan at the host stand. He did not nod. He did not look away. "I'll be right back," Paige said. Simone watched her cross the dining room with 2 menus still tucked under her arm. Kira tore a small corner from the bread and placed it on her plate beside the birthday card. The paper crown sat low over her braids. "Can we order the dinosaur pasta?" Kira asked. "We can ask," Simone said. Nolan returned before Paige did. This time he carried a black check presenter, though no meal had been served. "Ma'am," he said, "the kitchen will not be taking this table." Simone looked at the check presenter, then at the empty plates. "We have not ordered. That is part of the problem." Kira stopped chewing. Nolan opened the presenter. Inside was a blank receipt slip, with the table number written in blue ink. "Bread service and sparkling water," he said. "Then we need you to clear the booth. The bread is complimentary, not when service is declined." Simone placed her napkin beside her water glass. "Who declined service?" Nolan's thumb tapped the receipt folder twice. "Management." Across the dining room, a server poured wine for a couple who had walked in after Simone. The window booth remained empty, with 2 folded napkins standing upright, like nothing had happened to them. Simone turned her phone face down on the table. "Please bring us a server." Nolan took out his own device and opened the POS manager screen. Paige stood behind him now, close enough to see the table map. "Nolan," she said quietly, "the Carter reservation is confirmed." He did not turn. "Paige, update the table note." Her fingers stayed on the side of the tablet. "What note?" "Service hold. Guest refusing to vacate." Simone lifted her eyes from Kira's plate. "I have not been asked to vacate a table I was properly assigned to." Nolan looked over his shoulder at Paige. "Write it." Paige typed one word, then stopped. "Service hold." Nolan reached over and finished it himself. "Guest refusing to vacate. Evan Price." 2 tables away. Raised his phone from the edge of his water glass. He did not announce that he was recording. The screen caught Nolan's hand on the tablet, Paige's face beside it, and Simone sitting with both hands visible on the linen. A woman near the window pushed her chair back. Marjorie Ellis set her napkin on the table and stood. "I watched the hostess find their reservation," she said. Nolan closed the POS screen. "Ma'am, this is an internal matter." "No," Marjorie said. "It is lunch." Her husband stood beside her. They walked to the door without waiting for the check. Nolan watched them leave, then looked back at Simone as if the lost table belonged to her. Kira slid her birthday card under the kids' menu. Only the green corner showed. "Mommy," she whispered. "Are we in trouble?" Simone moved closer until her shoulder touched Kira's. "No. We are sitting at a table with a reservation. That is not trouble." Nolan took out his phone. "I'm calling this in," he said. "I have to protect my staff." "From what?" Simone asked. He put the call on speaker before she finished. The dispatcher answered. Nolan gave the address first, then the restaurant name, then the sentence that made Paige grip the host tablet with both hands. "I have a black female with a child refusing to leave after being denied service. She is becoming aggressive." Kira looked at Simone. Simone placed one hand flat on the table. Where her daughter could see it was steady. "Look at me," she said. "We did not do anything wrong." Nolan ended the call and returned the phone to his pocket. "They'll verify the situation," he said. Simone opened her own phone. She tapped one contact. Miles answered on the second ring. "Mrs. Carter? How can I help?" "I am at the Alder Room." Simone said, "I need operations on the line." "Speaker, please." There was one clean pause. "Yes, Madam Chair?" Paige looked up from the tablet. Nolan did not. He was still staring at the service hold he had just created. Make noise and turn Kira's birthday into a scene. Or stay seated while a manager writes a lie into the system. Which choice is clean? Miles Harrington's voice came through Simone's phone. Flat and clear. "Yes, Madam Chair." Nolan Greer looked up then. Not all the way. Just enough to see Paige's hand move from the host tablet to the edge of the podium. Simon set the phone on the white linen. "Miles," she said, "please confirm my role and this property's status." There was a short pause. Paper moved on the other end of the line. "Simone Carter is Chair and Chief Executive Officer of Westmere Hospitality Group," Miles said. "Westmere completed acquisition of the parent company of the Alder Room 11 weeks ago. The lease, operating license, payroll structure, and management authority for this restaurant fall under Westmere." Kira held Simone's sleeve. Her paper crown had slipped to one side. Nolan gave a small laugh that did not reach his hands. His fingers stayed locked around the black check presenter. "That is not how this looks from the floor," he said. Simone turned the phone slightly toward the host stand. "Then read the floor record." Paige looked at Nolan first. Then she looked at Simone. "The reservation is there," Paige said. Her voice shook, but the words stayed in order. "Carter. Party of 2. Birthday lunch. Window booth. Confirmed 3 weeks ago," Miles asked. "Is there a manager override?" Paige touched the tablet. "Yes." "What does it say?" "Service hold. Guest refusing to vacate." Simone looked at Nolan. "I was never seated at my assigned table." Evan Price stepped into the aisle, with his phone held chest high. "I have the override on video," he said. "I also have the call." Nolan turned toward him. "You cannot record staff without permission." Officer Lena Cruz entered through the front door before Evan answered. She looked at the booth, the host stand, the phone on the table, and Kira pressed against Simone's side. "Who placed the call?" she asked. Nolan lifted one hand. "I did. There has been a misunderstanding." Simone kept her palm on Kira's back. "Officer, I would like to make a statement. I had a confirmed reservation. I was refused service. The emergency call described conduct that did not happen." Cruz looked to Paige. Paige nodded. She was sitting. Her daughter was sitting. There was no disturbance. Cruz wrote that down. Not on a napkin. Not in the air. In a report pad with her badge number printed at the top. Miles spoke again from the phone. "I am conferencing in Dina Clark, Chief People Officer." A second voice joined the line. Dina did not ask Nolan how he felt. She asked for the record. Miles read the sequence. Confirmed reservation. Table override. Service hold. Refusal of service. Emergency call. Dina answered. Terminate Nolan Greer for cause. Revoke POS manager override. Scheduling access. Service recovery codes. Staff messaging privileges. And emergency escalation authority. Preserve all records. The tablet at the host stand refreshed. Nolan Greer, access inactive. That was the first consequence. Dina continued. Print the service hold. Paige sent it to the small receipt printer under the podium. The paper came out in a thin white strip. Service hold. Guest refusing to vacate. Paige placed it beside Simone's reservation record. Same guest. Sam table. 2 different stories. Amend it. Dina said. Paige typed with both hands. Improper refusal of service under review. That was the second consequence. Officer Cruz tore a small incident card from her pad and handed it to Simone. The emergency call will be documented as disputed and unsupported by the current statements and video. That was the third. Nolan reached for his phone. Dina's voice came through the speaker. No staff contact. No guest contact. No vendor contact. All communication goes through counsel. His hand stopped above the screen. Miles arrived 12 minutes later in a navy suit. No quat. A folder under one arm. He stopped at the booth first. Mrs. Carter, he said. Kira. Then he turned to Paige. You are acting floor lead for the rest of the shift. You report directly to me. Paige nodded once. Her name tag caught the light from the host stand. Miles looked at the host tablet. Add an objection field to manager overrides before dinner service. If a host sees a confirmed reservation changed without cause, they can record it without manager approval. Paige looked at the screen. A new field appeared under the table map. Staff objection. That was the fourth correction. Small. Useful. Hard to bury. The kitchen doors opened. A pastry cook carried out a small chocolate cake on a white plate. One candle stood in the center. The flame leaned when he walked. Kira looked at Simone before looking at the cake. Simone touched the paper crown and straightened it. "We came for your lunch," she said. "We are going to finish your lunch." Miles moved them to the window booth. Not as a favor. As the reservation required, the birthday card came out from under the kids' menu and sat beside the cake. Ladder. Dina's team would pull every service hold under Nolan's login. Verification issue. Dress code concern. Aggressive guest. Dine and dash risk. Each line would be reviewed against video, receipts, and staff statements. But first, Kira blew out the candle. The table they tried to hide in the back became the record that changed every host stand after it. Nolan thought he was protecting the restaurant. That was the part worth remembering. This is a fictional story, created for storytelling purposes.